Hi everyone, this is Dr. Michael Mickey. I am your biology mentor. Previously, we talked about eukaryotic cells in part 1 lecture. Now, we will talk about prokaryotic cells, general features and shapes. So, prokaryotes includes bacteria, blue-green algae, means cyanobacteria, mycoplasma, and ppl. They are small, multiply fast, and come with four basic shapes. Mycoplasma is a unique because it has no cell wall at all. This is one of the basic NEET MCQ. Okay, mycoplasma is unique because it has no cell wall. So now we will break down the term better. So we talked about there are four shapes, basic shapes. So bacillus shape means rod-shaped bacterium. Coccus means spherical bacterium. Simple example for that. And Brio is comma-shaped bacterium. Spirillum is spiral-shaped bacterium. We early talked about the PPLO. PPLO means pleuropneumonia-like organisms. Another name associated with mycoplasma type organisms lacking a cell wall. Okay, we talked earlier about that. Mycoplasma is a unique because it has no cell wall at all. It is one of the main NEET MCQ given in past years. So prokaryote, yes, blue-green algae is also called as cyanobacteria. So coming to high heel points in this, or mycoplasma is only prokaryotic that lacks a wall. All prokaryotes have cell wall except mycoplasma. Is repeated almost every year in same form. Just I told before you that this mycoplasma is the only prokaryotic cell that lacks cell wall. All prokaryotes have a cell wall except mycoplasma. It is very important every year repeated same form. Same form. Okay, note them. And four bacillus shapes. We really talked about that four bacillus bacteria shapes: Bacillus, Coccus, Vibrio, Spirillum, and their shape, named and matching is guaranteed matching identify question. Some MCQ they will give that Bacillus and Coccus, Vibrio, and their matching forms. That the one of the main lead MCQs that coming. This this table also very important means they're explaining that the bacteria, rod-shaped bacterium is a term of bacillus, spherical is term of coccus, comma-shaped is bacteria is term of vibrio, spiral-shaped bacteria, pattern-shaped bacterium also called spirillum, and there are also the PPLO. PPLO means pneumonia-like organisms, another name associated with mycoplasma. Then there are very type and organisms lacking cell wall. It was the one of the main high yield MCQs. So coming to that, we can think in exams thinking an MCQ reversal. So here we think that exception trigger. If a question given by examiner to trigger a students like this, all prokaryotes have cell wall is a deliberately planted false statement type because of mycoplasma. Test markers exploit this NCERT except use directly. If all prokaryotes have cell wall, all prokaryotes have cell wall. It false because there is no cell wall in mycoplasma. Okay, now all all prokaryotes have cell wall. The question is framed like what is the false statement? Then you can tell is that all prokaryotes have cell wall. No, because of mycoplasma is also a prokaryote, but it lacks cell wall. Okay, this is one of the main point from also NEET NCERT. And NEET NCERT based figure, you can watch the figure in NEET NCERT based 8.2 figure. Size origin question are common. Arrange virus less than PPLO, less than typical bacteria, less than eukaryotic cell size. Another predicted original initial questions are we earlier talked about it that which prokaryotic cell lacks cell wall? Definitely a microplasma. Okay. So another questions like match bacterial shape with name. We earlier talked about the this forms. No, we earlier talked about these forms. No, matching the following the bacteria and simple explanation with them that like. So we talked about now the predicted question style questions and match match the bacteria shape, comma shaped spherical rod and spiral. Now another one is the arrange in increasing order of PPLO virus, typical bacterium and eukaryotes. We just now talked about the arrangement of size. The like questions also given by NTA. Yes. So we know that why students make mistake that all students assume that the bacteria prokaryotes have cell wall without remembering the mycoplasma section. Okay. Students confuse vibrio, comma shaped with the spirillum spiral. Both sound similar and curved. So many students will be confusing many of times because of the wording or pronunciation or sounding will be same like vibrio, comma shaped spirillum spiral. So the both similar curved. By that students may be confusing while answering the question. Another one is cross-chapter links. It will connect with the biology, human welfare and microbe chapter where mycoplasma, PPLO, and bacterial shape reappear in this context. Okay, okay. Memory aid, PCBS. So one of the best memory aid that we will discussing about that PCBS. PCBS. Bacillus rod shape, coccus spherical shape, vibrio comma shape, spirillum spiral shape. Those are the common four shapes. Okay. So tenth step is examiner psychology. What is actually being tested? Test memorization accuracy of small but exam favorite exceptions. Okay. So the difficulty prediction is that microplasma cell suction is very easy to model. One of the basic questions given in this chapter is microplasma. One of the basic questions. And shape matching is also very basic questions given and very easy format. It will be very easy format. We generally discussed it above. This is very important. On we will talk about cell envelope, pygocalax, cell wall, plasma membrane, and gramstone. So, so most of the bacteria, not most of, most bacteria are wrapped with three layers, thin, three thin layers from outside to inside. Mean out to in. Lactocalax, plasma cell, lactocalax cell wall, plasma membrane. Those are the three tight layers wrapped from outside to inside. Remember, cytoclarax, cell wall, plasma membrane, together called cell envelope. They are called, they together are called cell envelope. Okay, depending on how thick different this envelope is. Bacteria take up gram stain differently, dividing them into gram positive and gram negative groups. So bacteria will take them if any difference in the envelope, the bacteria will choose either it is gram positive or gram negative groups, depending how the thick and different are of these envelopes from outside to inside. The three thick layers, three tight layers. So now we will break down term by term. First of that is glycocalyx. So, outermost layer. Okay, now it is outermost layer, very outermost layer. Can be loose, slim layer, or a thick, tight capsule, depending on the bacteria. So, the glycocalyx will be depend on the bacteria. Okay, the glycocalyx will be depend on the bacteria. Either it should be in loose layer or thick or tight or capsule, depending on the bacteria. And another one is cell wall. Determines the shape of the cells and gives structural support to prevent bursting and collapsing. So, one of the main important MCQs in NEET that cell wall is a structural support to prevent which of the following. Then you can go that bursting and collapsing. Okay, it will determines the shape of the cell wall, which is determines the shape of the cell and gives a structural support to prevent bursting and collapsing. One of the main points. And another one is gram positive bacteria. Bacteria that take up the gram stain. Okay, the bacteria which take the gram stain is comes under gram positive bacteria. The bacteria which do not take up gram stain, they comes under negative bacteria. We'll talk about mesosome. Mesosomes are special membrane structures formed by the enfolding of plasma membrane into the cell in the form of vesicles, tubules, and lamella. So, Mesosome is one of the specialized membrane which is formed by the plasma membrane to the cell to form the vesicles and tubules and lamellae. Chromatophores, membranous extensions to the cytoplasm, seen in cytobacteria and contain pigments. Okay, chromatophores, extensions of the cytoplasm, seen in cyanobacteria and containing pigments. This is the topic. It has many number of MCQs and high yield points. Star rated also very important. In this order of the cell envelope from out to inside is glycocalyx, outside to inside is glycocalyx first out to in cell wall or plasma membrane. This exact sequence is guaranteed sequence trigger question. It is one of the trigger question will be in the NEET. And another one is mesosome functions. All four must be memorized. Okay. First one is the cell wall formation, DNA replication and distribution to daughter cells, respiration and secretion, increase surface area of plasma membrane and enzymatic content. NCERT exercise fifth question 5 directly ask this. So check the NCERT exercise question 5 once you have NCERT. I extracted this all points and make the high yield points from only the direct lines of NCERT. Gram staining classification depends on differences in the cell envelope, not the genetic material. So, see this gram stain classification depends on differences in the cell envelope, not in genetic material. Common faults of peptide. It is common faults. Like the calyx can be a cellular layer or loop or capsule system of those two terms often swapped as distractors. Okay. So step 4 to 5 is examiner's thinking and MCQ triggers. Examiner's thinking and MCQ triggers. So this is a direct insert exercise question. Question 5 from exercise. What is mesosome? Mention function. Examiners often list such exercise listed concepts almost verbatim into MCQ form. Function trigger. Testing whether students know mesosome helps in cell wall formation, DNA replication, distribution, respiration, secretion, and increasing surface area. A partial list of those functions used at the false statement is common. Those are the triggering statements. Exam thinking, triggering statements. Okay. Definition trigger. Confusing glycocalyx, outermost with cell wall, middle or plasma membrane, innermost layer. Okay, this is the triggering method by examiner. Predicted originally state questions from this topic is that the current sequence of layers in bacterial cell envelope from out to inside. Option A, cell wall glycocalyx plasma membrane, glycocalyx cell wall plasma membrane cell wall glycocalyx, and cell wall plasma membrane glycocalyx. The option is B is correct because for outer to inner is glycocalyx, cell wall, and plasma membrane. Which of the following is a not function of nucleosome? Insert a false like photosynthesis. They will cue that like photosynthesis. Okay. And what if anything like we discussed above that there is a functions that the cell wall formation, DNA replication, distribution, respiration in the surface area. Those are the functions are done by function, not a function done by mixosome. If any false allegation done by the examiner, he will insert one small option like photosynthesis, which is the false in mixosome. Okay, gram positive and gram negative bacteria are classified based on different things. A. Genetic material. B. Cell envelope, ribosome type, and flagellum number. The correct answer is cell envelope. We discussed about it in this Gramscian classification depends on differences in the cell envelope, not in genetic material. That was we discussed about that. So there are more most common students make mistakes in student thinks lysosomes are found in eukaryotes too. They are exclusively prokaryotic. Lysosomes not found in eukaryotes. They are only exclusively in prokaryotes. Students mix up layer and capillus interchangeable rather than the loose specific or rough variants of glycocalyx. Students forgot gram staining is about the cell envelope, assuming it relates to genetic content or flagella. Step 8 is cross chapters links, microbiology and biology in human welfare chapter. Antibiotic action trigger targets bacterial cell wall directly using gram positive and negative classification. Summary 8. Cell envelope order. We already discussed about it. Outer to inside, like a calyx, cell wall, plasma membrane. Examiner psychology. What is actually being tested? Checks precise NCERT line by line recall, a classic reading accuracy. We should want to accurately read a classic reading like line to line of NCERT. Check since mesosome functions are stated in one tense sentence in NCERT. Check once. Difficulty predictions of type of MCQs are um, easy, very easy sequence is the layer sequence is very easy. We talked earlier about that glycocalyx cell wall and plasma membrane. We really talked about that. Okay, mesosome full function list also give in the very moderate to hard form because it is very confusing to list out. Okay, and Gramscian base is also a moderate one to making MCQs. Yes, sir. Okay, today we discussed about prokaryotic cells and cell envelope, glycocalyx, cell wall, plasma membrane, and gram staining. And tomorrow we will discuss about some other topics like flagella, villi, fimbriae, and prokaryotic ribosomes, institution and bodies. So I will provide this PDF in my Telegram channel after completion of this whole chapter. Okay, make some MCQs by this and I will post them. I will post some MCQs in my Telegram channel and join my Telegram channel and support us. It will be very useful to you also because there is so many full paid high cost PDFs and high cost PDFs, so we can provide only the best version of NEET side. How the examiner thinks, how the examiner going to give an MCQ, how twisted is that. So we are all working on that every day. So we need support from you to push and so many chapters. We will discuss about so many chapters also. So follow us, subscribe us, and on the bell notification. If any video comes, it will be notified you very quickly. Yes, learn with us, and we can grow together. Bye bye bye.